Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. On November the 15th, there will be a farce posing as a boxing contest between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Yes, that Mike Tyson. All 58 years of him. And I very rarely agree with Eddie Hearn. No, actually, let me rephrase that. I very rarely trust that Eddie Hearn is being serious, is being sincere. Again, since serious is the wrong word, but I very rarely think that the words coming out of Eddie Hearn's mouth are entirely sincere. It's very rare, but he did have something to say about this so-called fight. And I'm going to just quote him. He says, he said, "What on earth are we doing? I'm lucky enough to have a business where we don't need to do that, and I never will do that," meaning host something or promote something like Paul versus Tyson. Anyone that thinks Tyson should be in the ring right now either doesn't have his best interests at heart or is an idiot. Fair comment. Mike Tyson left the sport of boxing, which was, 20 years ago? I don't know, something like that. He was shot to pieces. Yes, he was. Go watch it. I'm sure it's on YouTube. Kevin McBride. And to quote Tyson himself after that fight, he said, "I felt like 100 years old in there." Mike, you looked it, mate. You looked it. And he was only at the time, 38, I think, 37, 38. Hearn carries on. He says, "I know he's only fighting Jake Paul, but it doesn't matter. Jake Paul's a powerful kid. He trains every day. He can punch. I get it. I get the business. I'm not criticising them." Well, yes, you are, Eddie. You are, and quite rightly so, in my opinion. But for me, no thank you. Not in a million years. I can only echo what Hearn has said there. This is just a perversion of boxing. It's a joke. And I kind of was getting sort of warming to Jake Paul because, yeah, he's fought absolutely no one. Most of his opponents, from what I gather, aren't even really professional boxers. He's fought, ex-MMA guys. And did he fight Nate Diaz at one point and outpointed him? And his whole career is a sort of facsimile of boxing. It's not really boxing, not real boxing. Having said that, on the clips I've seen, and I saw his fight with Tommy Fury, and I saw one of his others, which I can't remember who it was against. I know he knocked the guy out in, I think, the second round. He does have some basics, some basic technique. I did see a couple of feints in there. I did see a guy who seemed to have, a reasonable idea of how to hold your shape, and there were little shoots of someone who clearly had been in the gym working on some stuff. And I don't know how old Jake Paul is. What is he, like late 20s maybe? He obviously started boxing very late. That's evident when you watch him. But, he seems to be at least keeping himself in shape. I gather he's put on a bit of weight from what I read. Well, was he a light heavy or a cruiser, and now he's edging towards heavyweight? Sometimes you have to wonder how people make certain weights, or is it the fact that he's just eaten himself into the division, or has he been pumping iron, or has he been doing, should we say, putting on weight using other means, if you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't follow the guy's career at all. But the only reason I'm doing this video is because I think that the contest with Tyson is kind of farcical. And people will say, yeah, but I've actually heard people say, yeah, but Mike Tyson's Mike Tyson. He'll smash Jake Paul to bits. Do they have no concept of the process of aging? Do they know nothing about it? Clearly, perhaps they're younger people who regard Mike Tyson as being this mystical beast. Someone's like fucking, I don't know, some sort of like Godzilla or something, some legend, some myth, maybe some, like something from Jason and the Argonauts or Greek mythology or something. Mike Tyson's a man. Mike Tyson's just a normal human being. And the aging process applies to him and everyone else. The guy's 58 years old. He's older than I am. And he hasn't had a fight, a professional boxing match, for 20 years? Was it 22 years? Well, 2004, McBride? I think it's 20 years. So inevitably, as you age, your muscles, your ligaments, everything about you, it's wear and tear. It's the difference between a car with, 2,000 miles on the clock and a car with 200,000. Or in the case of a 58-year-old, probably 300,000 or 400,000 miles on the clock. It doesn't work like that. Your body, even I, someone who was never really an athlete, and certainly never a professional boxer, at my age now, I feel myself slowing up, certainly within the legs as well. I mean, and then mentally and as well, I forget things that I never used to. But my legs, I used to walk for miles and think nothing of it. Running and walking was my thing. I used to really enjoy that. I used to go for long hikes, and when I was a teenager, I'd do 6-mile run. I think absolutely nothing of it, absolutely nothing at all. It'd be like going for a stroll in the park. Now, if I walk for a couple of miles, I'm not knackered, but I feel the pace because my legs are those of a 57-year-old man. Now, the idea of someone who is, in his late 20s punching Mike Tyson in the face, regardless of the fact what Mike Tyson achieved in boxing, in fact, you can, not only is he old, but he had a very strenuous, 50 and 6 when he retired? So 56 professional fights, the miles on the FISTIC clock, on the brain matter, on the physical side of it, the physiology of it. Add 20 years on top of that of just natural aging. These fighters are not supermen or women. They're not superheroes. The body is a vehicle, and gradually it slows up, and gradually it crumbles, and eventually we all die. And I would hate for someone like Jake Paul, who is, a novice professional who has fought absolutely no one. I'd hate for him. Well, the only pseudo, maybe crypto boxer that he's fought is Tommy Fury, and you can't really call him much of a professional boxer. He seems to be he seems to have straddled that sort of YouTube professional boxing. He's got a foot in both camps. But, you I don't know. I mean, I just don't understand why people would think that someone who's that young, even though they are a novice, wouldn't be able to put the heat on someone who's 58. Especially sometimes about someone who's fit, someone who's, been training and done the basics. It's a grim, horrible, stupid cash-in. And I know Jake Paul is all about making money and, being crass and vulgar and coarse and, grabbing the bag wherever he can see it and all of this sort of crap. I barely know how the guy became famous. I don't really know. He's a YouTuber, wasn't he? But what the fuck he did, I have no idea to get famous, and why people follow him, why he sells so many pay-per-views. I cannot begin to fathom. Maybe it's just not my generation. Maybe kids these days like that sort of stuff. Him, KSI, and a few of the others. I mean, Mr. Beast. I read that Mr. Beast on YouTube has got something like 200 million subscribers or something ridiculous. Or is it even more than that? I don't even know. I've no idea what he does. But look, it's just not part of my world. But anyway, getting back to boxing, no. Jake Paul against Mike Tyson is a farce, a fistic farce, and should not be happening. And don't give me any crap about, well, if you don't like it, don't watch it. No, that's not the point. The point is, this is a boxing channel, and Mike Tyson is a former heavyweight great. So I'm entitled to my opinion. And my opinion is that this is shite. Okay, absolute shite. Anyway, what do you think? Surely you don't have much sympathy for this garbage, do you? Maybe you do. If you do, you're entitled to your opinion. Leave it below, and I'll have a read. And thank you for your time. Comments below. Please, 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 if you're new, subscribe to the channel and hit that like button as well, because they count them. Thank you. I will get you later. Bye for now.